Check there.
Check, check. I can't hear
Oh,
myself.
hold on. Just hold on. Okay, now try.
Check, check. I can. Yeah, now I can hear myself.
Right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, give me your broadcast voice here.
My broadcast voice in Woodland taking on Kalama here at their brand new stadium out in Dyke Access Road with a beautiful view of some farmland in the distance.
There you go.
All right.
That looks good.
Good deal.
Put that down, that down, that down, that down. That goes down. Turn that off, turn that off. Okay, so we'll go about 10 minutes. Is that okay, T? Oh no, you can. I mean, you can leave it up. Up.
You are listening to the Eli Sports Network, and our broadcast is just minutes away on ESN. Eli Sports Network is on the air, and our broadcast is now just minutes away on ESN.
Come along. Come along, baby. Baby, let's take some nice vacation. It's been years since we've been gone. You get a suitcase and I'll grab the duffel. Pack some shorts and your blue sarong. We got tickets at the airport waiting. A nice hotel on the sand. Picture my arm around your shoulder. An umbrella drink in the other hand. 'Cause all I want is you down by the ocean. We'll be gone, gone, gone. We'll trade one more bottle of suntan lotion. We'll be living like a beach boy song. Baby, leave your day plan home on the counter. It's payback time for seeds we've sown. Just imagine a week doing nothing, lying there with no cell phone. Warm wind blowing through the evening. We'll dance barefoot to a steel drum band. Maybe we could stay forever. Hey, you know that's a real good plan. 'Cause all I want is you and me down by the ocean. We'll be gone, gone, gone. We'll trade one more bottle of suntan lotion. We'll be living like a beach boy song. We'll spend some time in the water. We'll spend some time in the sun. Leave the chaos behind us. Get sunburned, yeah, baby. Get sunburned till it's fun, fun, fun. Till her daddy takes the TiVo away. 'Cause it's all I want, all I want. You, me, down by the ocean. We'll be gone, gone, gone. We'll trade one more bottle of suntan lotion. We'll be living like a beach boy song.
The Eli Sports Network is on the air, and our broadcast is now just minutes away on ESN.
Come along. Come along, baby.
Welcome to the Eli Sports Network, the leader in high school sports broadcasts. Today, exciting varsity soccer action is on tap, and we begin it all with a pregame show. Let's head out to the stadium and get ready for exciting, fast-paced soccer action with the pregame show.
And good afternoon and welcome to Woodland High School. Tony Dively here with Dave Weber and Paul Beatty. Paul will be running our board for us today, but good matchup between the Woodland Beavers and Kalama Chinooks. Both teams starting out 1-0. Kalama beat Castle Rock in their first game of the season 5-0. Woodland was able to hold on for the win. Not sure what their score was in their first contest. I know that their official first game was canceled due to the air quality issues that were going around, as they were one of those teams that was affected by that, being able to play, and they were right in, all those fires were right in this area, so they were one of the more affected teams in the area by that. But their second game, they ended up winning that one that they did get in, and they are both 1-0. Fred Jenkins takes over the head coaching job for the Woodland Beavers. John Bates, the Chinooks coach, good guy. Talked to him for quite a bit, and he says that they have they lost some talent, and one of their biggest things was that they've had a few injuries going on early on in the season, and one of them was a big one in a senior that's done for the season.
Yeah, that's a shame, but you also have Kalama coming off a second-place finish in the B tournament last year, losing to St. George's 1-0. Just to throw in the score that you were searching for, Woodland had defeated La Center 4-2 on Thursday. That's their one game so far. Kalama comes back, though. As you mentioned, they only have 3 seniors. One of them is injured. Just 2 freshmen. That's the biggest concern, maybe, is that they don't have a lot of new youngsters coming in. But, you know, a program that's gotten all the way to a state final a year ago, even though it's in B, which is below the level of 2A that Woodland plays in, makes for a good matchup. One of the top teams from the small schools stepping up to play a bigger school here today.
Yeah, and one of those freshmen that you were talking about, Melanie Martinez, in the game against Castle Rock, she had a hat trick in that. She scored 3 of the goals. The other one scoring was Emily Mickelson. She had 2, but with the injury to McKenna Speed, Mickelson will play on the back line today just to try to slow down this Woodland team. They're going to need her to be a physical force on the back line. If they get the opportunity, she might move forward, but talking to head coach John Bates, he said that he wants to win. You always want to win, but they have a really big league game next week, so he doesn't want to risk his best player in Mickelson to injury. So he was like, if she shows any signs of wear or if there's any hard tackles towards her, he's possibly going to pull her out, because he does need to get some of his younger players in and get some in-game experience, but at the same time, he doesn't want to risk an injury against one of the top teams in their league.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, too. You play these games when you're a smaller school. You step up in class like this to gain valuable experience, but your league games are most important, and that is borne out by last year when Woodland defeated the Chinooks 2-0 in a non-conference game, and yet Kalama went on to the state title game, as I mentioned.
Yeah, and that's one that, talking to Coach John Bates and both Fred Jenkins, that Coach Bates said they have never won here, that they are wanting to change that Kalama has never beat Woodland since he has been the coach of Kalama, and he wants to change that, but he says it's going to be a difficult task with them graduating so many players, and then on top of it, the injury to their best backline player in McKenna Speed.
Well, we'll see how they're able to rebuild, and this is only the first step in that. It'll be later in the year when they play against the other schools at their level that will tell the tale as to whether they're successful at their own level or not.
Yeah, and that's one that, once they start playing teams around their range, it should help them out quite a bit. Let's go over the starters real quick. For the visiting Kalama Chinooks, they start in goal, Mary Morrell. Madeline Norton, Emily Mickelson, Abby Meyer, and Ryan Bailey are the back line. Midfielders, Jenna Burnell and Lily Given. Forwards, Chloe Gould, Ruby Jackson, and Melanie Martinez. For the Woodland Beavers, they start sophomore keeper Gwen Elkington. Defenders are Emerson Finn, Kaylee Weist, Catherine Palutzian, got her name right, Mabel Warndall, and Elizabeth Aceveda. Midfielders are Ashlyn Daughtry and Michaela Upson. Forwards Hannah Landrigan, Sarah Redder, and Ashley Burney are the starters for the Woodland Beavers. And that will do it for the pregame show when we come back. Game time action between the Woodland Beavers and the Kalama Chinooks. Back after this on the Eli Sports Network.
The pregame show is a wrap, and it's time to kick off. Up next, live play-by-play soccer action is on the Eli Sports Network.
Working together for a common goal. That's what teamwork is all about. Tom and Karen Alderson and all the staff at Awards West Printwares congratulates all of our local athletes for the time and effort they have invested in learning to play their game and in learning how to be good teammates. At Awards West Printwares, we take a lot of pride in working as a team to provide quality custom awards, screen printing, embroidery, and banners. Alderson's Awards West Printwares on Kresge in Centralia.
Centralia College is where your success begins. Fresh out of high school, want to extend your athletic career, or are heading back to class for a new career, Centralia College is a great place to start. It's not too early to begin planning, and the Centralia College Foundation can help you pay for your education. The foundation offers more than $500,000 in scholarships every year. You can apply easily by going to centralia.edu/scholarships. Centralia College is where your success begins.
Good Health Nutrition Center in Centralia is your home base for nutrition. When you visit Good Health Nutrition Center, you'll find the largest selection of vitamins, supplements, and natural remedies. You may be surprised to also find a huge selection of healthy groceries such as gluten-free products, environmentally friendly products, organic fruits and vegetables, and items for specific diets like the diabetic diet. Good Health Nutrition Center, powering students and athletes from the inside out. Good Health Nutrition Center on Harrison in Centralia.
The Holiday Inn Express in Chehalis is pleased to support the student athletes that dedicate themselves to be the best they can be. The Holiday Inn Express offers large, clean rooms with an indoor pool, fitness center, spa, free breakfast, Wi-Fi, and business center. The Chehalis Holiday Inn Express also has 2 meeting rooms and can accommodate up to 100. Call for more details or go online at hiexpress.com, or you can click on the Holiday Inn Express advertisement on the Eli Sports Network. When you are looking to stay overnight, remember the Holiday Inn Express.
Ethics, integrity, and respect are important values in our daily lives. On the playing field, these values are translated into the form of sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is one of the strongest educational and lifetime values taught by school activities. Remember, sportsmanship is how you play the game. A message from the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association.
The teams are set, the referees in place, and the fans on the edge of their seats. So let's kick this game off. Get set, because here we go. Live soccer action is on now.
And welcome back to Woodland High School, home of the Big Green W that Paul seems to love so much, as the Beavers look to host the Kalama Chinooks.
It's one of the best little things that a high school has ever done, that Big Green W. That is so iconic, and I think a lot of stadiums would love something as simple as that, but you know exactly what it means when you walk in.
And this is one of those that when I went to talk to the coaches, there were about 20 minutes left before game time. The stands were pretty much empty, but they have filled in nicely, have a nice crowd here at the new Woodland Stadium. Well, it's not new anymore, but it's still pretty new, and it's a really nice stadium, a great place to play, and it's a good home field for this Woodland Beavers team that should have a really good chance of coming away with the win here. As talking to head coach John Bates for Kalama, that those injuries are going to be trouble, but they graduated a girl that scored 40 goals in her career last year, so that's going to be a hard thing to fill in for. But if that first game is any indication, Melanie Martinez, the freshman, getting a hat trick He said that her big thing is she likes to shoot from the outside. She always thinks there's pressure on her, so sometimes she takes her shots a little too soon. But if he can rein that in and get her to really focus in and make that one extra 2 steps forward and then shoot, go one-on-one with a keeper, it could help her out a lot. And she's getting a ton of game time experience as a freshman, which will only help her moving along throughout her career.
Yeah, and that's been kind of the theme this first week of girls soccer. You and I have done 3 games, and we've seen freshmen and sophomore stars in every one of them. In this ball game here, we've got 2 freshmen starting for each team, Jackson and Martinez for Kalama, and Finn and Bernie for Woodland. So the theme of the season thus far, some good young talent. We'll see if it continues this afternoon.
Yeah, it will be one of those things that we will see how they play the things out. As the other starter for Kalama that we did not have was Gracie Stemkowski. He told me Stemkowski. I thought it was Stemkowski too. That's what my thought was, but it is Stemkowski. Ball comes to the near side for the Beavers as they work it down the near sideline. Hannah Landrigan will play it back to the back line. Beavers looking to set something up the field as Ashlyn Daughtry has it. Daughtry down the far sideline. Good cutoff run, that time by Ryan Bailey on the back line for the Chinooks. Beavers will work it across the field, going from the right to left side of the field now towards the stands.
Beavers being very deliberate thus far.
They are. They're a methodical type of team. They're going to work the ball around. They're not going to take a whole lot of chances. They like to keep the pace and slow things down, work from the middle of the field, and when they see openings, try to take advantage that way. There's a steal by Stemkowski. Stemkowski making one miss. Gracie up the far sideline and coming from behind as one of the defenders. Ball will go out. Throw in for Kalama.
Yeah, this gives Kalama a chance to break that strangle lock that the Beavers have had on the ball. Let's see if they can run some sort of set piece off their throw-in to create an opportunity. They're about 35 yards out on the left here.
Throw in coming high into the air, into the area of the Chinooks. Didn't quite see who that was that got that, but here's a long run from the Beavers trying to counter in the middle of the field. Running down the field was Sarah Redder. Beavers did not like their long run. They took it and played it back to the middle third. Now they're back in the attacking third. Pass over. Stick move gets the ball away from Finn Emerson. Trying to work the ball forward. Everybody up for the Beavers. Juggling the ball around. That is going to be Palutzian. Palutzian will play it all the way back to midfield to their center back in Mabel Warndall. Warndall and Aceveda, the 2 center backs for the Beavers. Ball goes middle of the field to Michaela Upson. Back to Aceveda.
Beavers definitely in no hurry.
No rush to get things going. This one played to the near sideline. It goes to Palutzian. Palutzian gets cut off. Ball will go out of bounds. Knocked out by Ruby Jackson. Thrown in quickly to Daughtry. Ashlyn. Back to Palutzian. Palutzian gets it over to Upson. Upson turns, works the middle of the field, looking to cross the field. Pass over, and that's a good play behind by Ryan Bailey. Get the defender to bite and went behind the back. Able to run the ball down, long kick forward. It's a foot race that will be won by Mabel Warndall of the Beavers. The Beavers in their home white tops with green numbers and black shorts. Kalama in their all blacks with white trim, with white numbers and a little orange trim around the numbers. Long run coming for the Beavers, but that'll be cut off by Emily Mickelson. Her clearance, though, goes right back to the middle of the field. Mistouched, and that will go in somehow. Slow roller. Hannah Landrigan, I believe, will get the credit for the goal.
Yeah, that was a surprising goal when she put it off her foot. I thought it had a chance to go in because the keeper was not in the exact position she needed to be in. And, indeed, that was Anna Landrigan who scores that goal.
That was the slightest redirect. And that was in the, was that 5th minute?
Yep.
6th? 5th minute that Landrigan is able to get a little tapper to go in just enough of a toe to get that redirect into the back net. Mary Morrell tried her best to get there, but she had committed to one side, and that ball just rolled by before she could get there. Chinooks trying to answer, though. Ball taken by Daughtry. Ashland cuts back middle of the field. Ashland still with it. Has Landrigan trying to find her, but cut off, nicely done by the Chinooks. Gracie Stemkowski.
That goal, another example of what you were talking about before the game about inexperience. Sophomore goalkeeper, not necessarily in the best of position, and a goal that she probably won't give up later in the year. But
that's one that everybody collapsed on the running forward and didn't mark up the second player through. And somehow Landrigan gets a toe on the ball just enough, and it was the slightest roll that ended up redirecting that one because it was not a fast-moving ball. Drop kick by Morrell goes to the Beavers in the middle of the field. They're in the attacking third again. Here comes Daughtry. Daughtry stops, turns, surveys, gets it over to Landrigan. Centers it, does Landrigan. Ball cleared out, but only for the moment, knocked down by Palutzian. Palutzian will run it down. Good hustle by Palutzian. As Catherine Palutzian, ball will go all the way back to Mabel Warndall and the back line. Warndall will play it to Aceveda, and Aceveda will get things started back down the field.
You know, we talked about the deliberate style of play of the Beavers. That is the only shot of the game, and it went into the goal. So clearly their thoughtful short passing game paid off on that one.
Ball juggled around both sides, running into each other. Ryan Bailey, and on the other side, that was Sarah Redder. Collide. Ball taken by the Chinooks. Chinooks turn and clear it up the field. That's one of those that, talking to both the head coaches, Woodland seems to have more club and select league players. They have girls that play all year round. Kalama has a few. They have 3 or 4 girls that play year round, but for the most part, these are inexperienced players that would more than likely with this youth group be on a JV team right now getting experience that way, but Kalama doesn't have enough numbers to have a JV team, so they are settling for just this varsity squad that they have to run out there, and they're going to be they showed what they can do against teams like Castle Rock and against a team like Castle Rock that are on their level, and they're really good with that, but against teams that have a lot of experience, they're going to struggle this year.
Yeah, and it's always more difficult. Kalama, not exactly way out in the wilderness, but they're not right next to the big city of Vancouver or what have you. Makes it tougher to play club when you're out in the more rural areas.
Chloe Gould showed some speed down that far sideline, but lost track of where the ball was. Ball got played out by one of the defenders in Emerson Finn, and it'll be a throw-in to the Chinooks, trying to lead it down the far sideline. Tapped out, no good. Throw-in coming for the Beavers. Going to run it down is Kaylee Wiest.
Yeah, and they're going to have to be more effective with the throw-ins because that's a way for the Chinooks to break the short passing stranglehold that the Beavers have shown early. They're doing a really good job moving it from one girl to the next, and if you get your own throw-in, that enables you to set the pace, but that time they weren't able to take advantage.
Ball to the middle of the field goes Daughtry. Ashland, slow roller over to Wiest. Wiest, nobody pressuring. She's got a lot of time. Probably passed that a little too soon. Had somebody trying to streak open on the far side. Everybody playing back for the Chinooks, so I don't think there's going to be a real offside threat that time, but ball played out by the back line. Beavers will throw in.
Interesting to see if the Beavers are going to get this throw in at about the football 10 or 15 yard line. It'll be interesting to see if they attack with it or just throw it backwards and set up again.
And it looks like they're wanting to attack with it. Instead, they will throw it back to Wiest. Wiest to Aceveda. But everybody on the Chinook side of the field The whole back line, the only player back on the Woodland side is the keeper in Elkington.
That's the way it's been much of the game. A couple of throw-ins in the front half for Kalama, but other than that, they have not mounted too many threats. Only 2 shots in the game, both by Woodland. One of them went in the goal. The other wasn't close to being a goal and wasn't saved.
Weist with a good run. A little hesitation. Long shot coming in. Going to test this keeper in Morrell. And Mary able to come up and catch that one on a one-hopper. Ball headed forward, but running that one down will be Warndall. Mabel will play it back to Elkington.
And I think for all their short passing, that's the first time they've played it back to the keeper. So it shows you how much the offense has gone the Beavers' way.
The back line doing a good job. There's a hard shoulder at midfield taken by Bernie Ashley. That will be a free kick to the Beavers. Coming over to take it will be Aceveda.
Right about exactly at midfield on the far right sideline.
Elizabeth Aceveda will place it, spins the ball where she wants it.
Looks like she's going to attack with this one.
Sends it high up the field towards Upson. Upson mistimed her jump, and that ball went over her head, but it's still taken by the Beavers. Ashlyn Daughtry. Daughtry gets it over to Landrigan. Landrigan, the goal scorer, gets it back over to the area of the Beavers, Emerson Finn.
Dougherty took a shot there, hit in Landrigan in the, looked like it hit her in the hand, but I guess it was ruled unintentional.
Landrigan crosses up top. Back it goes to Palutzian. Palutzian did not hit that where she wanted it to go, was looking for a cross. It ended up going off the outside of her foot and spinning backwards, but the Beavers, Aceveda will get there. Back to Daughtry. Over to Warndall. Warndall will switch sides of the field to Weist. Weist has room to work. Looks up, surveys, finds Michaela Upson. Upson juggles around, gets around one. Upson back over it goes to Daughtry. Daughtry with a deep shot, and that'll be picked up by Morrell. A little slow roller that time Mary Morrell was able to run it down.
A little bit of a change in, perhaps a change in philosophy, or maybe just the way, what do you call it, an aberration, but a few long shots being taken early by Woodland instead of being as deliberate as they are in the back part of the field.
And here comes Kalama cutting off the pass from Elkington, but not able to take advantage was Stemkowski. Stemkowski was trying to run forward, took a hard touch, and now Stemkowski will check out. Checking in for Kalama is going to be...
That's Haley Manat, I believe.
Haley Manat will check in, get some playing time, get some run. Moving up the field quickly is Woodland. Good stick move in the middle of the field. Good job putting a foot in there by Lily Given. But back it goes to the Beavers. And that was Landrigan. All out of play off of the Beavers. Chinooks will throw in. That's Jenna Burnell will throw in far side of the field. Burnell throws it in towards Minat.
You know, it's possible that early deliberation by Woodland was just to find out where they thought the scoring opportunities are, the weaker spots in the defense for Kalama. I mean, they did score 4 goals the other day, so they obviously have some offense, and maybe they were just trying to find out where the best spots to attack were by using that deliberate style early, because they've let some longer shots go now.
And get that feeling out process done and see where they can take advantage of and who they think that they can run by and score on. And that with the way Mary Morrell handled that one shot that rolled in, they're going to try to test her early and make sure that wasn't a fluke, that she really did just miss that. Long pass up intended for Landrigan, too long for Landrigan to get there. And coming from behind was Landrigan. Abby Meyer did a good job dribbling around and keeping Landrigan off the ball. Landrigan gets it over to Daughtry. Daughtry tries to center. She will center in the area of Redder. Cut off. Aceveda pushes it forward.
Yeah, Redder was getting ready to wind up for a shot, and a Kalama defender made a good play to poke it away.
Bernie 1-on-3 gets the touchback right back. Ashley trying to get their crosses in, and it'll go off of one of the Chinooks. Corner coming for the Beavers. First corner of the match for Woodland. And it looks like coming over to take it is going to be Mabel Warndall.
And they're going to put 4 players right at the top of the box, right about the penalty spot. See what they do with this. They also have someone playing short, and they all move in different directions.
That's Bernie playing short. Warndall will play it backwards towards Aceveda. No, that's not Aceveda. That is going to be Wiest. And Wiest, her shot goes over the crossbar. Ends up being a goal kick for the Chinooks. No, it'll be a corner. It took a deflection.
It hit off the head of one of the Chinooks. So another corner from the same spot.
Now Wiest will check out for Woodland. Checking in is Delaney Stepper. Warndall will take this corner as well.
And that's the second corner. Woodland's also taken 6 shots. Only one of them was on goal, but that one went in. So
Warndall up top, and that's cut off. Nicely done by Mickelson. Emily able to jump in front of that. Aceveda trying to keep the ball in play, trying to tightrope that sideline, and she does. Good job by Elizabeth Aceveda, and it looks like it'll be another corner, and it will be the third corner of the match for Woodland.
Third corner also very recently. It's only been in the last 5 minutes or so that they had them. So their offense is increasing. They're taking those long shots, and now they've had 3 corner kicks. They set a set play up with 4 girls up a little about 4 yards higher than the penalty spot, and then they run them off that almost like a basketball inbounds play and move in all directions to see what they're going to do with it.
So Warndall will back up.
Kalama with 6 defenders in the box in addition to the goalkeeper, though, so it's going to be thread the needle time.
Everybody spinning around. Ball played up, cut off. Nicely done by Mickelson. Emily will make a long run of her own, but gets cut off by Aceveda.
That was an excellent play by Mickelson as the Beavers ran their set play, and she broke it up. They had 6 players ready in the box, and she sprinted out and got in the way.
Now it'll be the Beavers yet again. This one isn't a corner, but it will be a throw-in.
Yeah, it's kind of an in-effect corner, throw in from about 10 yards up the field.
Sub will be made first, though. Checking in for Kalama is Jenna Hargrave. Beavers set up, cross, high into the middle of the box, chested forward by Landrigan, and that one was scooped up by Mary Morrell.
Yeah, not a lot of fast movement on that by the defense, but unfortunately Morrell was there to get it, but it wasn't really very quick reaction by Kalama to that shot, that crossing pass.
It was not, and that was one that Landrigan probably wanted to settle that with her foot, but the ball was played in too close to her and couldn't bring it down.
Landrigan and Dougherty have been on this left side, have been providing a lot of the movement for them.
Ball will swing over to the right side of the field now. That'll go to that side with Kaylee Wiest. Long run by the Beavers onside. Ball cut to the back to the middle of the field. And that one gets cleared out of there a long way. Bernie was in the area trying to beat everybody. It'll go back to Elizabeth Aceveda.
Yeah, they had Landrigan and Redder ready to take a pass there, but the Chinooks made a good play to break up the basically a 3-on-3 drive.
Ball to the middle of the field. Michaela Upson with it. Upson turns. Tries to stop and turn, but will lose the possession. It'll go back over, though, to Daughtry. Warndall gets a nutmeg on the defender. Gets it back towards Daughtry. That'll go to Aceveda, who will play it back to Elkington. Gwynn gets a slow roller over to Delaney Stepper.
You know, one of the differences in this game, and you see that little slow pass from the keeper to the other player, and only after it was on its way did Kalama go up and try to put any pressure on. If they want to be successful, they got to put a little bit more pressure on when the ball is rolling from keeper to the outlet passer, the outlet receiver.
A long throw in down the field for The Chinooks, Hargrave trying to run it down. She'll keep it in play, plays it backwards. Ball still in play. Chinooks trying to get a cross in, nicely blocked by the defender that time for the Beavers. Player goes down, deep shot off the crossbar of the field goal uprights, but a really good attempt, best attempt by the Chinooks throughout the game, showing they got some power from distance as well.
That's the only attempt. That's their first shot after 19 and a half minutes. But if they have that kind of foot they can put into it, they can score from outside. They could tie this thing up even without running a long, precise offensive set.
It looked like that was Haley Minat that ended up taking that shot from distance.
Yeah, she's a senior, and she came off the bench. You don't know if she's if that was something else going on, why she didn't start today. But that shot certainly shows that she's got some power to affect the outcome.
Ball played back in, and it'll go along this back line for the Beavers. Beavers work the ball up quickly towards the middle of the field. Running on is going to be Emerson Finn. Finn gets it around one. That ball will go off of Mickelson. Should be another corner, and it will be another corner to the Beavers. And Warrendahl will take this one as well.
Fourth corner kick, they're running a similar pattern where they have Landrigan to the left, Redder to the middle, and the player comes up the right sideline with the ball on her feet and tries to get it to one of them and gives them three different options to score, either the player that brings it up or those two on the other side.
Last time, Michaela Upson ran backwards and then spun around towards that back post. See if she does that again.
Keep an eye on Mickelson, who's at the top of the box right now, looking to break it up like she did last time.
And this one pushed towards Upson. Michaela pushes it back to Aceveda. Elizabeth looked like she might have wanted to take the shot, but didn't.
And I can see why. There's not a lot of man-on-man pressure or girl-on-girl pressure being put on shooters. If they're in the 20-yard range, Kalama's kind of laying back, defending the goal with numbers, and you can get those long shots off.
Back it goes to Warrendahl. Warrendahl to Bernie, to Aceveda.
She's lining it up.
Aceveda wants to put some power behind that. Tried to spin move, but got in her own way, and now the Chinooks will have the possession. Coming up with it for the Chinooks was Jenna Burnell. Chinooks trying to run down this near side of the field. Long run by Ruby Jackson. Couldn't quite catch up to it. And a sub will be made for the Chinooks. Let's see who's checking out. And looks like going out will be Jenna Hargrave. And checking back in will be Melanie Martinez.
Martinez with fresh legs. You mentioned in the pregame she scored 3 goals the other day. So coming in fresh here for the latter part of the first half, maybe she can get something going.
Aceveda will play it back to the keeper in Elkington. Gwen, the younger of the two keepers, gets the start. Ball goes up to Landrigan. Landrigan to Upson. Michaela surveys, goes to the far side of the field towards Bernie. Bernie back to Upson. They'll play it back to Warrendahl. Mabel settles it, gets it over to Aceveda. Aceveda back to Bernie. Bernie with room to work. Plays it towards the middle of the field. Back it goes to Landrigan. Landrigan plays it inside. It'll go off of Mickelson. Trying to play that, not keep that down was Emerson Finn. A good job that time by Emily Mickelson to jump in front.
She's made a couple of plays like that, but that was a really nice pass from Landrigan to Finn as well to slide it into her at the top of the semicircle there.
Long run coming from Upson. Michaela Upson loses the ball from behind. That'll be taken and settled by Abby Meyer. Meyer somehow, some reason, settling in the corner, and then she'll poke it out for the throw-in and not the corner. Just shielding off the forward. Usually that happens when you have a 3-0 lead and time's running down. As the Beavers bring in 3 subs. Going out will be Bernie, Sarah Redder, and Michaela Upson.
it's a good situation if you're going to put in mass substitutions like that. Maybe players that haven't played as much. You've had control of the first half, have a 1-0 lead, and see if you can keep that up and get some fresh legs for later in the game with your starters.
Looks like Chelsea Beardsley will check in. 15 minutes to play in the first half. 1-0, Woodland leads Kalama. Tip in the middle of the field by Beardsley, cut off by Mickelson. Mickelson taps and then clears that one down the field. Good clearance. That time by Emily Mickelson. Ball goes to the back line, and Warndall will run it down.
Subs off the bench for Woodland, not shy. Beardsley went right after that, was trying to get it through those two defenders and see if she could get a goal in the first minute after coming in. So
Beardsley and Cassidy Upson check into the match. Can't quite tell who the third player that came in was.
Two of them did go directly to the front, though, so the idea of having fresh legs to possibly score may have been on Coach Jenkins' mind when he made that substitution.
The other player that came in was Frances Helling, and Helling just ran in front of the defender trying to lob it down the field. It goes off of her and out of play, but that was good hustle by Frances.
Yeah, and I think that may be what, Kalama's inexperienced. They don't want to make mistakes and so forth, but they need to throw caution to the wind here a little bit to get back in this because they're really sitting back in a tight defense and allowing Woodland to make all these short passes and kind of set themselves up.
That's one of those that they need to play off of instinct and not quite play as much off of not messing up. I don't want to mess up, and that's when you mess up usually. Ball played back to Finn of the Beavers. Beavers still with it. Back to Finn. Emerson looking to line up, takes a deep shot over the crossbar. Goal kick coming for the for the Chinooks.
Another one that hit the football goalpost, and that is the 8th shot of the game. Only one was on the frame, though, which went in and counts for the Beavers' 1-0 lead. But they are definitely, as you mentioned before, they're trying to put a lot of pressure on the sophomore goalkeeper, Mary Morrell.
Aspen Smith checks in for the Chinooks. Going out is Melanie Martinez. Ball to the middle of the field to Minat. Back over to the Beavers. Working on that back line. Taken by, push forward that time by Warndall. Mabel gets it to Daughtry. Daughtry moving that forward. And we had that backwards. Minat is number 17 and Martinez is number 10. So Martinez is the one in there now. Minat did get the start.
So they changed their jersey numbers one for the other, huh?
They did.
Okay. Maybe someone had a favorite in there.
Ball goes back to the middle of the field to Ashlyn Daughtry. Daughtry, room to work, tips it up the far sideline. Lead pass in the area of Helling. Francis trying to run it down. Ball will go out, and it will be a goal kick.
Okay. Number 10, of course, as many soccer fans would already know, is a famous scoring number. A lot of the top scorers over the years, all the way back to Pele, have worn number 10. So maybe that's what Melanie likes about it.
She probably more knows Messi than anybody.
Yeah, exactly. She
number 10.
She definitely wouldn't know Pele. But
what were the two names?
Minat
and
Martinez.
Likely whoever did the roster just flipped the numbers in
Probably.
alphabetical order.
Oh, we want to have a better story than that, Paul. So.
Well, it looks like they might have already had that because they're in different areas. But yeah, you can see how Martinez scored from deep. She took that hard, deep shot, just went over the crossbar, has some power. For being only a freshman, she's one of the taller players out there.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the pregame, this has been a season so far of a lot of young freshmen or sophomores, some sophomores, but we've seen them at Olympia Rogers game and also the WFOS versus Centralia game. We saw freshmen and sophomores predominate in those, and Martinez is yet another young threat that's developing in the area.
Ball goes back to Warndall. Mabel serves it up to Finn. Emerson. Back to that far sideline it goes to Wiest. No, that's not Wiest anymore. They replaced 12 with 13. That's Delaney Stepper. Pass through. Good hesitation move by Emerson Finn. Finn gets it across, goes to Mickelson. Emily settles it and clears it down the field.
Yeah, Emily Mickelson, one of the few seniors, one of 3 seniors on Kalama's roster. And as you mentioned, McKenna Speed is out, so one of only 2 that are playing today. And she's done a good job back there on defense.
Chloe Gould made a long run that time for the Chinooks, just not able to run the ball down. Getting there first was Mabel Warndall. Chinooks, long clearance up the field over Warndall's head.
Yeah, the problem for the Chinooks right now, if you look at it, they've just got people jogging after that clearance. They're just not really sprinting down to try to take advantage. And that is Martinez. Hopefully she'll get more aggressive as the game goes along and get herself a shot out of one of those long clearances.
Not a whole lot of hustle up top. That's one that if they were to sprint, that was a slow pass back by Warndall to the keeper in Elkington. And if there would have been a sprint there, it would have been a closer play that maybe might have made Elkington think twice. Elkington is only a sophomore keeper, so you might want to pressure her early on.
Chloe Gould making a nice play a moment ago for Kalama to keep it in, though, and they have a threat still going.
Gould still with it, plays it over towards Martinez. Good, nice pass over, and there's an offsides flag. Martinez turned, had a player running on, helping her out.
You know, that's almost an offside you'd be glad to see, though, if you were a Chinook fan, because it showed some aggression. They had some players running up there. They had 4 people on an offense, which has not been the case most of the time. So hopefully for their people that hope they win the game, hopefully Kalama's going to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, it looks like that was Ryan Bailey that made that run down that sideline trying to get that give and go. She's a defender that was playing up there that might not remember that she's on offense, not defense. Couple of subs come in for the Chinooks. The free kick was taken. Up to Warndall. Played back to Aceveda. Elizabeth with it. Has room to work. Martinez stuck in front of her pretty well. Ball played over to Palutsian.
Kalama's playing a defensive style that makes sense for them if you're an inexperienced team and you're trying to make sure you don't let the other team run wild. They're falling back and keeping everything in front of them, but by the same token, that doesn't put a lot of pressure on Woodland. They're able to pass the ball around at will to see which seam they want to try to exploit.
Long run, good long run, good hustle by the Beavers trying to get a cross in. Cross will go right to Mary Morrell, the keeper for the Chinooks, who catches that one clean.
Yeah, she turned the corner nicely, but Morrell gathered that one in.
8 minutes to go in the first half. And the Woodland Beavers lead the Kalama Chinooks 1-0 after a 5th-minute goal by Hannah Landrigan.
What Woodland needs to do is just keep playing this way and look for some more opportunities, but Kalama needs to pick up the pace at some point. Sometimes coaches will do that and hold back a little bit until they keep the game in order at 1-0 and then go all out late in the second half to try to get that equalizer and go-ahead goal. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's one that Woodland can afford to be slow and methodical. They already have that 1-0 lead and not a whole lot of pressure from Kalama down on the other end. But here comes Emily Mickelson. Mickelson taking it by herself down the field. Mickelson gets by 2. Mickelson still with it. Sidestepping Warndall. Aceveda on their spin. Mickelson on a long run. Emily Mickelson tired of waiting in the back line, and she moved up the field pretty nicely.
Yeah, she went about 50 yards with that one. I think she wanted our play of the game on that one. She was going to try to go 80 yards for a score, but finally got taken away from her.
Trying to go coast to coast, and here comes the Beavers, and there was a shove by Finn trying to clear some space to get back to the ball. It was seen by the head official, and so it'll be a free kick to the Chinooks.
2 subs waiting over there.
Palutsian and Aceveda will check out. That will drop Emerson Finn back to the back line with 6 minutes to play in the first half.
So you got to wonder if Mickelson was just playing the role of a senior who played on some really good teams in the past and wanted to make something happen on her own, or if that signals that Kalama is going to take the gloves off and play a little bit harder here. There comes coming on the run to create some difficulty. There's Macy Tucker. She's pursuing the ball all over the field, first to the defender and then to the keeper. So it looks like Kalama's being more aggressive.
They're going to be a little more aggressive, but that's one that Mickelson is a natural midfield forward. She's not one of the players that is normally playing on the back line, and here comes a chance for Kalama. Shot squirts by. That should be a corner for the Chinooks, and it will be a good long run that time by the Chinooks. Macy Tucker able to run that one down. Tried to put a good cross in, and it gets deflected off of one of the defenders. I think that Gwen Elkington was wanting that to get through because she had the player called off and was going to pick that one up, but instead they give the corner.
Here comes Mickelson all the way upfield to take the corner. As you mentioned, she's been an offensive player earlier in her career, and so she'll take it from the far side, the left side, as they attack.
She'll place the ball where she wants it.
Nobody short, so this is going to come into the box. They've got them scattered throughout. 5 players.
Helling is going to play that 10 yards off right at the corner of the 18-yard box. High cross by Mickelson over the head of the keeper, and the offside flag goes up.
Yeah, they had Melanie Martinez right in the middle of the box looking to receive that, and she couldn't get the header off, and somebody was offsides, either her or the other girl who was to her right.
That was a good chance by the Chinooks.
And we may be seeing what you see a lot of times in high school soccer. One of the teams starts out very hesitant, and then they pick it up, and you get a much better, much more competitive game as it goes along. So we'll see what happens here in the last 4 minutes of the half and then the second half.
It's only 1-0 too, so it just takes one.
Yeah, only takes one to even things up.
That's the danger for the Beavers here, not taking more advantage early on here.
Delaney Stepper plays it up the field. Long pass up towards Beardsley. Beardsley taps too far ahead of herself, but able to run the ball down, gets cut off. Goes down, and the ball will go off of one of the Chinooks for a throw-in.
Yeah, no foul called. She was either snagged her foot on the turf, I guess is what the official believes, because she went down in a heap over there. But no foul was called.
Throw-in coming for the Beavers. Going to run it down is Delaney Stepper to throw in with 3 minutes to play in the first half. We're about in that stoppage time period where time will be kept on the field. High throw-in goes over the head of Cassidy Upson. Back come the Beavers, though, to Michaela Upson. Upson over to Landrigan. Landrigan back to Upson, back to Landrigan. And they'll work this ball around the field. Emerson Finn with it. Finn to Upson, to Landrigan. Landrigan centers. Gets it to Beardsley. Beardsley off of her knee. Pass forward. Gets it up to Upson. Michaela can't get a good shot in. Didn't get the right placement. Tried to plant and shoot. Goes off the outside of her foot wide. Goal kick coming for the Chinooks.
Yeah, Mickelson will take it. And her teammates are not going too far downfield, though, and they're not going there very quickly. So we'll see what she does with this.
Looks like she's got Ruby Jackson on the near side on the sideline, but that will go to the middle of the field and gets cut off. Nicely done by Ashlyn Daughtry. Upson gets it over to Landrigan. Landrigan goes middle of the field to Cassidy Upson. Cassidy turns. We're in that 2-minute stoppage time period now. Shouldn't be too much added on. Haven't been many stoppages of play. Ball comes over towards Beardsley. Beardsley's shot gets blocked, but it goes to Michaela Upson. Michaela looking to plant and take a better shot this time. Landrigan up top. Landrigan has room. Instead spins out of danger, gets it over to Daughtry. Ashlyn shooting from distance, and that'll be scooped up by Mary Morrell.
Yeah, she didn't have a good plan on that. She was swinging her foot around. She didn't really get the good part of it on the ball, so just kind of bounced to the keeper.
Morrell's drop kick goes towards Martinez. And Martinez comes out of the pack with it. Melanie. Pass forward to Chloe Gould. Gould will lose the possession. Mabel Warndall playing good defense. Gets it up the field towards Cassidy Upson. Cassidy goes across over to Helling. Francis will get it to Daughtry. Daughtry. Ashland on a long run. Ashland. Daughtry looking for the cross, trying to lead Beardsley. And there's a good clearance that time by Emily Mickelson. Back to the back line it goes. Switching sides of the field one more time. Emerson Finn, shouldn't be too much time left. Finn making a long run down the near sideline. Emerson has room to work, trying to get around the defender and Ruby Jackson. Finn will take a shot from distant, lifts one, but that goes right to the hands of Mary Morrell.
That's the exact perfect type of shot where you're testing the sophomore keeper. She launched that and made Morrell make a play on it. That wasn't going to go in. It was a little bit wide to the left, but if it's in front of the goal, that puts some pressure on the young keeper.
Well, up the field, long run coming for the Chinooks, trying to run that one down. It's going to be Macy Tucker. Tucker did run it down. Ball will roll and go out of play. Throw in for the Chinooks deep in the corner. This possibly the last play of the first half. Beavers with a 1-0 lead.
Macy Tucker has been one of the more active Chinooks the last few minutes. She's a sophomore, so somebody they can build for the future here.
Chloe Gould running that ball down. Gould with a throw in. And that should just about do it. As that ball gets cleared out by this back line of the Beavers. And at the half, it is 1-0. The Woodland Beavers lead the Kalama Chinooks after a 5th-minute goal by Hannah Landrigan. We'll be back with more after this on the Eli Sports Network with the halftime show, the Port of Centralia halftime show after this.
When is the right time to make a move? It's always the biggest question many have when it comes to finances. Your biggest investment, your home, can be the source of extra cash you could use right now. Or maybe it's not the right time to refinance. Get your questions answered from the pros at Mortgage One Northwest in Hawks Prairie. Mortgage One Northwest gives you straight answers so you can make the best decision. Your friend in the mortgage business is Mortgage One Northwest. NMLS 82426.
GNC in Chehalis is the place to stop for quality vitamins and sports nutrition products. GNC offers a large selection of multivitamins that meet the needs of men, women, kids, and teens. Locally owned since 1993 by the Kerner family, Chehalis GNC invites you to come in today for a healthy new you. Ask about GNC's free reward program to start receiving rebates on all your purchases. Chehalis GNC in the Twin City Town Center, across from Starbucks. GNC, come in and live well.
The Pacific Athletic Center is excited about the expansion of our Express basketball teams, featuring 5th through 8th grade and high school girls teams and boys teams. Players for the Express receive exposure to the highest level of competition, our dedicated practice facility, individual training, and coaching from our experienced staff, plus top-of-the-line gear, and for parents, affordable pricing and scholarships. Check out the Pack Express at PacificAthleticCenter.com.
The Pacific Athletic Center, a locally owned nonprofit organization, is dedicated to developing quality youth sports programs at an affordable price. Our team practice rental rates start at $10 an hour for local Chehalis area teams. In addition to operating as a practice facility, the PAC is always adding to its offerings. From skill development to organizing and hosting competitive tournaments, there's always something new going on. To find out more, check out the PAC online at PacificAthleticCenter.com.
Are you an athlete, former athlete, or suffering from athletic-type injuries? Then you need to stop by Pacific Sports Spa and check out the most cutting-edge therapy equipment assembled in one place in all of the Pacific Northwest. Pacific Pacific Sports Spa can help you deal with the pain and soreness of sprains, inflammation, or stiff joints and muscles. Check out the services offered by Pacific Sports Spa on their website at pacificsportspa.com. Pacific Sports Spa is an athlete's best friend.
It's time for break as both teams head to the locker room to talk things over. We're also going to talk things over with the Port of Centralia halftime show. Let's head back to the stadium for stats and highlights here on the Eli Sports Network.
And welcome back to Woodland High School. Tony Davila here with Dave Weber and Paul Beatty. At the half, it is Woodland 1 and the Kalama Chinooks 0 as Hannah Landrigan got the scoring going early on in the 5th minute. And then from there, that was after some setup by the Beavers on the back line, but it was a slow roller that was just redirected. Keeper and Mary Morrell for the Chinooks went one way, and that ball slow rolled into the back corner off the slightest touch by Landrigan. Didn't see who assisted on it, but it was a really good opportunity by the Beavers that they took advantage of. But from there, it was all Beavers on offense. The Chinooks had a couple of chances, but for the most part, it's been all Woodland all the time in this one.
Yeah, Woodland has outshot the Chinooks 11-2 overall. Unfortunately for them, well, they got the one goal, but only one other shot was on goal. So Mary Morrell made one save, and actually she made two saves. 3 shots were on goal, including the one that went in. Gwen Elkington, on the other hand, for Woodland, she hasn't had to make a save, as the only 2 shots by Kalama were wide. Well, actually, one was high, it hit the football crossbar, and the other one was off to the left. So she hasn't been required to make a formal save. Corner kicks, Woodland has 4. Kalama has just 1. So it has been all Beavers from the statistical standpoint. But on the other hand, late in the half, Kalama did keep the ball in the off their offensive zone quite a bit more often, and shown a little bit of signs of playing a little bit harder and more aggressively. Yeah,
they definitely made a few more runs towards the goal. It was a really good job by the Chinooks late in the half. As I said, Woodland has been playing the ball back to the back line, setting up slow, methodical builds of play. If they don't see anything, they play it right back to the back line, and they've crossed the field very well. Short, crisp passes up and down the field, and then when they need to, there's that burst over the middle that someone will run a ball down. Some really good chances coming from Hannah Landrigan, Ashlyn Daughtry, and Michaela Upson, with Emerson Finn working the ball up the field as well, with Beardsley, one of the subs that came in. She made her presence felt on offense as well for the Beavers. For the Chinooks, it was Melanie Martinez and the one big run by Emily Mickelson. Mickelson was trying to get on Sports Center with her long run, trying to go all the way down the field, made a couple of spin moves, nice footwork. You can tell that she's a natural forward midfielder with the way her footwork was. She was able to bounce off of a couple of defenders, stay upright, keep possession of the ball, but by the time she got to the other end of the field, everybody just converted on her, and it was just magnet ball at that point that everybody on the defense for the Beavers was not going to get beat by Emily Mickelson, and they closed in on her pretty well. But other than that, it's been the Chinooks, I don't want to say lack of effort, but they've been slow to react to a lot of things. There have been a couple of balls played into the middle of the field that it's a slow jog to it instead of a full-on sprint, where Woodland, the ball is played and everybody is going to that ball or going to where they need to be on the field to help out, and they're direct, and nobody seems to be doing that for Kalama besides Mickelson and Melanie Martinez. We'll talk more in the halftime show after this on the Eli Sports Network.
OB Credit Union is your local credit union throughout the South Sound area. At OB Credit Union, you can open a personal savings account or checking account and plan for your financial future. David Littleton is a financial advisor, and he's waiting to hear from you today. Dave can help plan for your future and put in safeguards for when times get tough, while taking advantage of high-profit time periods. OB Credit Union is a longtime community member and supporter of local students. Stop in today at OB Credit Union in Lacey, Tumwater, and Tenino.
Pacific Mobile Structures are big supporters of kids and athletics. Pacific Mobile Structures is the leader in temporary structures. If you are in need of temporary office space on a work site or for overflow space, or if your building is in need of major renovation, Pacific Mobile Structures can keep your company at work. Pacific Mobile Structures has a wide variety of square footage to fit your needs, and the structures do not have to be temporary. Pacific Mobile Structures can also offer you permanent space for a fraction of the cost to build your own. Go online to check out Pacific Mobile Structures.
And welcome back to Woodland High School. Tony Davila with Dave Weber, Paul Beatty. Right before the second half starts, what can the Chinooks do to get back in this game, Dave?
Well, I think they just need to be more aggressive when the ball does go up the field. I'm not certain that it may be they're being coached to stay back so much on defense and keep the ball in front of them that they're not recognizing the chances to go forward. But if they talked about it at halftime, I did notice that Coach John Bates was running around himself during his halftime talk across the way, perhaps demonstrating to them what they can do to, once they do succeed on defense and turn the ball the other way, run after it a little bit harder. One of the other players that was doing that late in the first half was Macy Tucker. If more people react the way she did, react the way Martinez and Mickelson did, they can do it. They can get back into it. Whether they can win the game or not remains to be seen, but they can put a lot more heat on Woodland than they have been. And during the break, I noticed that most of the reps in the halftime warm-ups were going to the second keeper for Woodland, who I believe may be Kylie Berghaus. I'm not really sure if that's her or not because she's not wearing the number that's on the roster, but they were working her out the entire halftime. That may be just to keep her fresh and let the starter Elkington rest a little bit, but could indicate a keeper change, and that could change the complexion a little bit if both Kalama comes on strong and there's a new keeper.
And that will do it for the Port of Centralia halftime show. When we come back, it will be second half action, Woodland and Kalama right after this.
The all-important second half is next. Who wants it more is the question, and the answer is coming up after this timeout as we wrap up the Port of Centralia halftime show here on ESN.
The Port of Centralia is a local leader in bringing new family wage jobs to Southwest Washington. The Port of Centralia Board of Commissioners is proud to support the local businesses like the Eli Sports Network and our local kids. There is no doubt our future leaders are those that can commit, are dedicated, and self-motivated. The Port of Centralia believes high school sports is a great way to develop those skills. Best of luck, athletes, from the Port of Centralia.
And welcome back to Woodland High School as second half action just getting underway. We do have a keeper change for the Woodland Beavers. Back there now is Kylie Burgess. Burgess will get the start for the second half. She is the upperclassman of the two keepers. She is a junior. It stays Mary Morrell for the Chinooks. Ball to the middle of the field. It goes to Michaela Upson, taken by the Chinooks. Working the ball forward is Ryan Bailey. Bailey keeps the possession. Bailey with a long pass to Martinez. Melanie trying to get around this back line. Over it goes to Bailey. Ryan trying to catch up to it, and that ball will go out of play. Throw in coming for the Chinooks.
Yeah,
so a little better tempo so far to start out the second half for the Chinooks.
Yeah, I was just going to say here's a good opportunity for them as the throw-in comes from Ryan Bailey to do something right away, make a statement about how hard they're going to attack in this half.
Ball comes up. Bailey with a deep throw in, and Bailey being very vocal, pointing everybody where they need to be, trying to get players to move around to help her out, and that's one of those things that they're going to have to keep on doing.
Well, there's an aggressive play by Bailey as she comes running up to try to break up one of those short passes, and that wasn't happening in the first half.
No, that was not Ryan Bailey, one of the upperclassmen. She is a junior taking control on this near side of the field.
Another throw in, this one at midfield, but still opportunity for those black jerseys to come flying around and see if they can get something past the new keeper early.
Ball will go out of bounds off the foot of Kylie Wiest. That'll be a throw-in to the Chinooks. No, that should be a throw-in to the Chinooks. That definitely went off of one of the Beavers. And Bailey can't believe it. Ball will go back to Landrigan, though. Sidestep by Wiest. Wiest will move down the near sideline. Kylie plays it back over to Finn. Emerson gets it to Landrigan. Back to Finn. Finn has room to work. Has one player in front of her looking for this cross. Emerson Finn goes towards the corner flag. Keeps the ball in play, and it'll be a goal kick to the Chinooks. Finn thought it stayed in or went off of one of the Chinooks. It did not. It'll be a goal kick coming. That'll be taken by Emily Mickelson.
Yeah, Finn just kind of ran out of room. She wanted to turn the corner on the right and head towards the goal. And the next thing she knew that yellow line was there, and she got hung up.
Sub looking to be made by the Chinooks. Not allowed. There they are now. They'll let her come in. Going out will be Stemkowski. Stemkowski is what I was told how to say it. I was told Stemkowski last year. Now it's Stemkowski.
You never know.
There's a lot of Stemkowskis in the Napa Vine and Centralia area as well.
She wanted to be unique.
Macy Tucker checks in.
And Macy Tucker, as I said a couple times, she was very active at the end of the first half. Maybe they want to see what her energy can do here in the early part of the second.
And it looks like with Tucker coming in, that will move Ryan Bailey to more of a central mid role instead of that flanking role she started out the second half in. Ball pushed to the middle by Michaela Upson. Upson with a shot and goes into the side netting with the wrong side of the goal, and that will be a goal kick for the Chinooks.
And that was a opportunistic move by her as she saw there was not a defender in that area. And as has happened throughout the game, there's been some shots from 10 yards out or longer that just haven't found the frame for the Beavers.
Mickelson's goal kick goes down the field, but that'll be taken by Ashlyn Daughtry. Daughtry works it around and plays it back to the back line to Warndall. Aceveda will work it up the field. Aceveda, long pass up, trying to get it up to Landrigan. Lost by Landrigan and cleared up by Mickelson. Bailey with the push off, no call, but didn't really affect the play as the Beavers held on to possession. Back to Landrigan. Landrigan will go back to Mabel Warndall. Warndall, hard first touch, gets cut off by Martinez. Martinez has room to work. Melanie Martinez on the run down the field. Martinez taking the ball into the goal box and slide. Keeper save by Burgess, but Melanie Martinez, a little too hard of a touch. She was trying to give herself some space to run and went a little too far ahead of herself, but a good run that time by Melanie Martinez.
That was very impressive composure for a freshman. She had two defenders, one on each side, running with her side to side, and she kept passing it ahead to herself, and the last one was just a foot or two too much.
And that was one that still could have been really good because Burgess kind of mishandled the ball coming sliding out. If that would have bobbled out in any way, Martinez would have been all over that. Ball back up the field. Here come the Beavers, though. Landrigan trying to run it down. A good job cutting her off was
Corner
Jenna Burnell.
Corner kick for Woodland, I think. I think he pointed to the corner. Yes, it is.
And it is a corner to Woodland, but that was a good job by Burnell to jump in front of Landrigan. Gets a foot on the ball. It ends up being a corner, but stop that long run coming from the Beavers.
Getting back to that attempt by Martinez, one thing I didn't particularly like about that from the Kalama standpoint, no one came with her. There was no one there. Had there been a rebound that rolled around anywhere, no other Chinooks were there, so they still need to be a little bit more aggressive.
Mabel Warndall will take this corner to Landrigan. Landrigan looking to get across, and it was a short corner over to Aceveda. Aceveda trying to play it forward high by Warndall. Keeps it up into the air. Landrigan will miss the pass, and that'll be cleared out nicely done by Chloe Gould for the Chinooks. Allows her teammates to come back and really settle in and work back on defense.
Yeah, that was potentially a very impressive play by Warndall. She kind of volleyed it over her head, and it almost got to the player she thought it was going to get to, and that could have been a good opportunity for the Beavers.
Beavers trying to keep it in play. Ball goes up to Sarah Redder. Redder will lose it out of play, and it'll be another corner to the Beavers.
That will be their 6th of the game as opposed to 1 for Kalama. Warndall coming back, I think, to take this. No, she's coming back to chase the other ball, I guess.
As we look to that, it's going to be again Mabel Warndall going to grab that ball. That spare ball is nowhere around there. It's to the back fence here at this Beaver Stadium. And Mabel will back up, see if they go short again to Landrigan. People come crashing in, and no, Warndall will send it up towards the top of the box. This time Bailey will cut it off. Acevedo will run it down, though. Up top it goes to Upson. Michaela Upson with a deep shot, and that'll be caught by Mary Morrell.
So that's 3 saves on the day for Morrell. Still not a save by the Woodland goalkeepers. Berghaus now and earlier Elkington.
Over the top, Martinez boots it over one, but can't get by the second defender coming across to get there was Palutzian. Throw in coming for the Chinooks.
Yeah, both teams just moving slowly between these plays as the ball gets chased down a couple of times from far away. The other players don't seem like they're just fired up. Maybe the conditioning early in the season, or maybe there's some lingering smoke from the other storm, but people are not moving very fast right now.
It is warmer down there than you'd think.
That's true, especially on the turf field.
Being down there a little earlier, it was remarkably a lot warmer than it is up here.
Yeah, turf field to add 10, 20 degrees to the day's heat.
And it doesn't help that the Chinooks are in all black either.
A little muggy, too, on top of it.
Acevedo throws it backwards towards Kylie Wiest. Wiest to Warndall. Up to Daughtry. Hit Daughtry in stride that time. Ashland crosses the field towards Landrigan. Landrigan trying to run it down too long. Throw in coming for the Chinooks.
Yeah, they're not connecting as well either on their short passing that they did in the first half, so we'll see if they can get back to what they're doing, or maybe Kalama's just playing better defense.
This ball will go out of bounds. If you're listening or watching, we are on live free on YouTube and on Twitter, Periscope. Thank you for joining us.
And we see that we've had many viewers on Twitter already this afternoon.
This ball will go back to Burgess. Kylie will work it along this back line again for Woodland. They've done that quite a bit.
Yeah, they started right out from the opening whistle with that, and it's been, I guess you can say it's been effective. They still lead 1-0. Haven't had their goalkeeper need to make a save, and they've taken 13 shots. So even though they've had a narrow lead, they are in control of the game.
Landrigan looking to get the ball right back, trying to catch up to it. Could not quite get there as Ashley Burney tried to work the give and go.
That's why it's so important, Dave, for them to try and get a second goal in here. You control this game so long, and that you just go back to that one long shot that went just above the goal that Kalama had in the first half. It just takes a shot like that, and all of a sudden all this effort is wasted.
Yeah, time and again over the last few years covering girls soccer, I've seen that where one team statistically just totally dominates the match, yet they end up losing because the other team is more effective with a couple of quick strikes.
And you can see that's what Kalama's doing here. Their strength is trying to keep the ball out of the net and then taking their measured attacks, hopefully to catch one of them. Kind of a lot like the old Black Hills boys team, Tony, a couple years ago.
Yeah, that was, or even WF West's.
Yeah,
that they play defense. They let you run yourself out of this, and if their defense can hold you to one goal, they're going to counterattack you for the last 10 minutes of the game. Long ball over the top and let you run yourself out of the game.
Yeah, you used to see that in basketball before the shot clock came in. Teams would stall and then play hard for the last 5 minutes, just hope they could win a short span of the game.
Yeah.
Here comes Mickelson with the goal kick. Mickelson gets it forward. Taken by the Beavers. That's Bernie. Ashley over to Landrigan. Landrigan, good pass over towards Upson. Upson, tip over. Ball into the box. Bernie couldn't get there before Mickelson. And Emily Mickelson with a good clearance down the field.
Yeah, and that's what you're hoping for out of the short passing game. That was a 2-pass to an opportunity in the middle of the field. Just didn't pay off, but you get enough exchanges like that, you'll get a good shot eventually.
27 minutes to go in this match. Woodland leading 1-0 still. They got their goal in the 5th minute and haven't been able to score since.
Boy, Mickelson just really gives out that aura of being that senior leader back there. She just looks a little bit bigger and stronger, and she looks more experienced. You can see why Kalama went all the way to the state title game with players like her last year. Hopefully she can rub off on some of the young talent they have now.
Long run coming from the Chinooks. That was Chloe Gould. Cut off by Martinez. Martinez tips it forward. Martinez still with it. Melanie tips it to herself. Takes a shot just wide of goal. Melanie Martinez, though, putting in some effort.
Yeah, that was a play there. They just left one of their little short passes far too short. Berghaus herself actually made it. She cleared the ball on a one-touch and just didn't really put much into it, and Martinez just pounced.
Martinez, it looked like she was wanting to take a shot from deeper than she did, but couldn't settle the ball at her feet. Ended up taking a pretty good shot still. Made a defender miss.
And again, what Paul mentioned a minute ago, where you play defense, and then something presents itself. In that instance, just got through talking about the veteran Mickelson, but that was the youngster Martinez who saw the opportunity and went right for it.
Ball up the field. Here comes Upson, and it looks like that might have kicked Woodland into gear because they have started to move around a lot faster on the field. There's not this slow pace that they've been working with for most of the game. There's a little bit more tempo now that they know that they need to score a second goal. That one was too close for comfort.
Also think you can, at some point, maybe not yet, both teams will look up on that scoreboard and go, yeah, I can run another X number of minutes. It's time to fire up and not save anything. So still ways to go, 25 minutes, almost 26. But at some point they're going to realize that the game is dwindling, and Woodland's going to go for that insurance goal, and Kalama's going to go all out to equalize.
Upson plays it back to Aceveda. Aceveda to Wiest. As Aceveda has moved out to the right back position, and Wiest has moved into the center back. For the whole first half, it was Aceveda and Warndall, the center backs. But that allows Aceveda with a big foot to be able to run down the sidelines and make an opportunity. But here comes Ashlyn Daughtry trying to get this cross in. Can't stop the ball before it goes out. Good long run by Daughtry. Her and Landrigan playing that give and go 1-2. And just a little too long for Daughtry to catch that one.
Yeah, they're running up against that end line a couple of times. I think it was Upson earlier that tried to, no, not Upson, Finn that tried to turn the corner down there and ran out of room. And that time she ran out of room on her run. But you can see what they're trying to do. And eventually if they get that corner turned, that could be the opportunity for the second goal.
Mickelson will take the goal kick. Mickelson sets the ball where she wants it.
She's backing up quite a bit, so she'll put a lot of foot into this. See if they can get an attack going out of this.
Up in the middle of the field for the Chinooks is going to be Jenna Hargrave. But that'll be cut off by Daughtry. Ashlyn trying to lay it off. Chinooks slow to react, and that ball will go out. Should be a corner, and it will be a corner to the Beavers.
Corner kick number 7 for Woodland, and that is getting up there into pretty high numbers, but they have not scored off of one of these. They scored off that slow roller, but they have not taken full advantage of the number of corner kicks they've had.
I think that Coach John Bates is going to be happy with this. He was saying that his team was going to struggle in this, that they weren't going to. He was like, my big goal is not to get scored double digits on me, and I think he's pretty safe in that.
Yeah, and it looked like that at the outset.
There's a shot in. Another shot that will go over the crossbar, missed by the Beavers.
Yeah, I quieted down because I saw that opportunity was about to come up. But at the outset of the game, you might have thought he was right, that not a very impressive goal scored 5 minutes in. It looked like maybe they would be beaten soundly, but that has not proven to be the case at all. And they, with 23 minutes to go, they got as good a shot as Woodland does, really, to if they can get a goal, to come back and possibly win it.
Yeah, that was one that he was saying that he's not. You always want to win. His thing was you always want to win, and he's one that he's from the UK somewhere. He has an accent, and he was like, you want to win. You always want to win, but he was like, really, with this game, it's non-league. I want my girls to be more about formation and hustle and get to the spots that they need to, so that we can have some tape to work on what they need to do throughout a game against a really good opponent. And he was like, Castle Rock was a good game because we won, and we won handily, but they're kind of on a down year right now. And he was like, so we wanted to see what we look like against a team that's a little better than the competition that we're going to face throughout the season.
Well, defensively, they've done that. Offensively, not as much. They only have taken 3 shots, and still none of those required a save by the keeper of Woodland, but 2 of those shots were near misses, so they have an opportunity if they can get up there to at least sneak back into this and tie it, and then see where it goes the final 22 minutes or less.
And there goes Emily Mickelson. I think her night is, her afternoon is done, and she's going towards the sideline to go sit down. She was one that he was saying that she was dealing with a nagging cold, chest cold, that he didn't know how long she was going to go and if she showed any signs of where he was going to pull her, and it looks like that just happened.
Well, I give her credit then, playing as long and as well as she did with the chest cold, because she, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, she's shown a lot of leadership. She made that nice run with the ball, trying to put physical effort out as well.
And here's Upson. Upson takes a shot, kick save by Morrell. Good kick save. That was going to go into that corner of the net, and a great save by Mary Morrell.
And that's her 4th of the afternoon. That was the most impressive right there.
Ball up into the air. Bernie trying to take a shot. Ashley settling the ball off. Back to Michaela Upson, who takes the shot over the crossbar.
And that one was one where Morrell got off to a late start trying to save it, so that would have fallen in over her head had it been a little bit lower. So Woodland, what they need to work on, obviously, going forward into their next game is a little bit more accuracy on their shooting.
Yeah, a little. Their passing is good. It's that finish that hasn't been so great. They've allowed players to run them down and really track back behind and settle on them. They haven't been able to break this defense for the Chinooks so far.
Which sounds funny in the sense that they've got 17 shots, but not that many of them have been, as you said, they're not setting right. They don't have the ball at their feet properly, and it's just not really good shots, and they're all going wide or too high.
As we're halfway through the second half, 20 minutes remain, 1-0 still. Woodland on top of the Chinooks. And yeah, it's one that the Beavers have had a lot of more opportunities, but they haven't really been on target. But here comes the Beavers as Acevedo working up the field. Acevedo not able to get around the defender, and that was a great play by the defender that time. I think that was Madeline Norton.
And she needed to make a great play because Landergan and Acevedo made a nice little give and go there. Acevedo spun away from the defender, got it to Landergan, then got it back from her. But as you said, the defender with a nice play.
And that was Lily Given that made that play, kept it in along the end line and able to turn and put that out for the throw-in and not the corner, as there's a shot just wide, and trying to get a goal in is Michaela Upson. She's had quite a few opportunities as of late. She really wants that goal. The junior midfielder really wants it.
Well, their shooting accuracy is less than 10%. They're 1 for 18. They've taken 18 shots and only one's gone in. So, and that was a roller. Their outside shooting, they've not even created too many save opportunities. Only 4 for Morrell. So, great game for them in getting opportunities. Not so great in finishing them.
Haley Minat checks back into the game, and there she is again, shot, and there's a goal. She did get her goal. Michaela Upson gets the hard shot. Keeper Morrell was there, tried to punch it over the crossbar, but that was too hard of a shot off the foot of Upson.
Yeah, Upson no doubt heard me talking about how they weren't accurate and they weren't getting their long shots, and she said, oh, yeah, and knocked that one right off the hands of Morrell and into the goal. So that was an excellent shot. In the 22nd minute. I mean, the 62nd minute.
So Michaela Upson makes it 2-0 Beavers. And that was one that really there was, even if Emily Mickelson was still back there, I don't think that one was getting stopped. Upson has been shooting, trying to get that goal and took that hard shot that Morrell got hands on, but just couldn't punch it hard enough over the crossbar to save that.
Yeah, I think that was more a case what we were talking about. They haven't had the ball set at their feet in the position to really get an effective shot on, and that time she got every bit of it. And that is that second goal, too. So now you have a team that's only managed to take 3 shots, needs to put 2 shots in the net in the final 17:48. And that's going to be a tremendous challenge for Kalama going forward from this point.
And right now it's Aceveda, Elizabeth Aceveda, just running down the field, slow poking the ball down the field, working on the defender, trying to get around one, and Aceveda will get called for the foul. A little too much contact with Jenna Burnell.
Yeah, Aceveda likes to use her strength. She likes to get low and push her hips in there and try to spin around with the ball, and that time she went a little too far with it.
And she's standing a little close to the free kick. This is one, if you're standing that close, I'm booting it right at you.
She's
That's
standing about half as far as she's allowed
and
to
standing with the hands on the hips.
Yeah.
I'm booting it right at you. That's your fault for standing there.
The assistant ref finally comes over and says, hey, back it up. And they don't even kick it near her. They just ground it past her.
Ball goes to Landrigan. Landrigan to Aceveda. Give and go. Aceveda tried to give and go with Landrigan, but too short of an angle and goes out of play for a goal kick for the Chinooks. Beavers to make a couple of saves. Going out is going to be Michaela Upson, the second goal scorer, and Landrigan, the first goal scorer. So both of the goal scorers are going to go out for the Beavers.
It would indicate probably a sense by Coach Fred Jenkins that perhaps his team has this game relatively well in hand and give some other players a chance.
Beardsley and I think Frances Helling check back into the match. Beardsley, an immediate touch for Beardsley.
Yeah, she's not shy about getting out there. She's a sophomore, so she's not a freshman. She's been in the high school ranks before, and she just went right after that. And I believe she was called for a foul.
She was. That was one that it was a hard shove, and the official comes over and says, no more of that. You're up by 2. No need for that.
And she's going to give it a hard 16 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised to see her create some opportunities here. She's eager to get out there and do something, and she's got fresh legs.
Ball to the middle of the field, taken by the Beavers. Long clearance, nobody there.
And here comes Beardsley.
Set off by Burnell. Burnell will knock it off of Beardsley, and as we said, they were probably going to slow things down and take their time. No, Beardsley has a different idea here. Chelsea is going to come out there like the Tasmanian Devil and try to score as soon as she can.
And that's probably a role they want her to play. I mean, you have a starting lineup perhaps that's set, and she's not going to break into it, but they're going to get her out there and get some good minutes out of her at full speed as opposed to a tired starter.
And that's one, if you can work hard, if you show effort, that can get you noticed, and it might break her into that starting lineup. Ball down on the Beaver side of the field is Woodland trying to work it up the field, still with the possession. Running forward is going to be Cassidy Upson. Cassidy's pass too close to the sideline. She will run across the field now. Subs will check in for the Chinooks. Going out, Jenna Hargrave and Haley Minat, Martinez, and Aspen Smith check in.
And as of this minute, John Bates has to be a little bit happy. They haven't had a lot of offensive opportunities, but he came in here last year with his state finalist team and lost 2-0 to Woodland. And with this team that he told you wasn't going to be all that this time of the year against a larger school, they've hung out with the exact same score with 14 minutes to go. Of course, Woodland could add another goal, but 2-0 against what he said was a weaker team.
Yeah, it was a good job by them. There's 13 minutes to play, and they've held Woodland, one of the teams that's a couple of classifications higher than them, to a 2-0 lead. And one of those was a late score, so they've done a really good job of holding on to this possession.
And they've laid back. That's been it's been a trade-off. That's one of the reasons they haven't scored, is that they're holding back on defense, making sure everything stays in front of them, not really attacking on defense to create offense, so their offense hasn't been as as strong as it could be, but it's done the job on defense and kept Woodland from running away with it.
Throw in down the sideline. That was Jenna Burnell. It went sideways off the foot of the up player. It'll be a throw in by Aceveda of the Beavers now to Beardsley. Beardsley cut off. Ball will go over to Daughtry. Daughtry sidestepping one. Still with it. The Beavers will take a deep shot from distance. That's Ashley Burney. That went just wide of goal. Goal kick coming.
Yeah, it's back to the flaw that's been the case for Woodland. A long shot that doesn't come close. That's actually their 20th attempt to score. 2 have gone in, 4 have been saved by Morel. So 14 that have gone wide or high.
Accuracy drills. Goal kick sent to the middle of the field. Push forward. Sent up by Chloe Gould. Gould trying to get something going for the Chinooks. Ball taken away. It'll go back over to the Beavers. Beavers work it down the far sideline.
You know, I think in addition to accuracy for Woodland, maybe one more pass some of the time. They pass, and then somebody randomly shoots instead of making one more pass and getting that player that does have the ball in a great shooting position.
That's one that this is the second game of the season, still trying to get teammates involved, and there's a shot from distance by Burney. That was one of those slow rollers that could have caught everybody off guard. The keeper, there were people in front of the keeper.
Yeah, and I think that was statistically, you can give a save to a defender, and if I could see who that was, we'd tell you who it was because she kicked it away before it could go into the goal.
I'm not quite sure who that was.
The one with the ball right now, number 9, is that who that is?
That would be
Madeline Norton.
Madeline Norton. Norton did a good job of coming over there and clearing that one out. Norton will take the free kick as there was a trip of a player from behind. It wasn't anything intentional, it just happened. But still, it ends up being a free kick to the Chinooks. Ryan Bailey will knock the ball off of her knee. The Beavers will let it go out. And a throw in coming.
Chinooks have done a good job of not getting frustrated. We haven't seen any cards come out against either team. And sometimes when you're having as much difficulty mounting an offense as they have been, you might get frustrated and hit somebody a little too hard, but that has not happened.
Aceveda turns, plays it back over to the defender and Mabel Warndall. Ball up, Martinez. Martinez on a run.
She's got help with her
Melanie
this time.
Gets a little nutmeg of Warndall, but couldn't quite get around Palutzen.
And now we're seeing here late, we're seeing Martinez, when she lost the ball, she went after it, tried to get it back, and Ryan Bailey jumped in there to try to get it back. So a little bit more aggression by Kalama with 10 minutes to play.
Throw in coming for the Chinooks. Trying to get another player to check in. Are the Chinooks trying to get Jenna Hargrave back into the match? Aceveda over to Daughtry. Daughtry turns, spins. Daughtry on a run, slow shot. Easy catch for Morel. Morel dropped to her knees about 5 yards away from that ball, and it just rolled right to her.
Yeah, that was on goal, but not very hard. It was more like the first goal, but this time Morel was around it instead of letting it go by. But
right back on it, though, is Daughtry. To Aceveda, and they'll play it back to the back line yet again.
You got to think that Kalama right now, they really would like to get a goal. You mentioned before they've never beaten Woodland, and they didn't score a goal here last year or wherever that game was played, and now aren't scoring yet here. If they could get a goal against a team they've never beaten, that's something of an accomplishment. And here goes Martinez. There's an offside flag.
Offside, and Ryan Bailey kept on pointing at her. I'm going to go to you. I'm going to go to you, and took one too many steps. I think that was one that it was a miscommunication between the two of them. She was wanting Martinez to go, but by the time Martinez did, the ball was off to the side, and Bailey didn't get a good kick on it.
And yet, that's something that you can build on. That's some tape. You talked about getting some tape. That's some tape you look at as a coach and say, here's what you need to do instead of what you did, and that turns into a goal later in the season.
Now Ryan Bailey checks out, and Jenna Hargrave will check in. Aceveda will work the ball across midfield. Plays it over to Beardsley. Beardsley sidesteps one, working on Burnell.
But Beardsley is not a physically imposing player, but she will throw whatever weight she has around. She is not afraid to mix it up, and she was on Jenna Burnell's back there trying to push her way around, so she is as feisty as they come.
With 8 minutes to play in regulation, 2-0, Woodland on top of Kalama. But, yeah, as you said, Beardsley, she's one of those pesky players that she frustrates you throughout the game, that she's always has that little extra poke or a little bump at the end, and it's not anything too hard. It's just one that gets under your skin. Like, why are you doing that?
Oh, yeah, she's not a dirty player, but she is a very physical player, and she's fun to watch.
A high kick goes over everything by the Beavers.
Well, they're just volume shooting, as you would say in basketball. They're just firing every chance they get, and 2 of them have gone in, and they're probably going to win the game, so it worked out well. But as you mentioned, maybe some accuracy drills, and as I mentioned, a little bit more patience, maybe one more pass to that player who can shoot it more accurately.
Checking back into the match for the Chinooks is Ruby Jackson.
Sorry about that. I was totaling up some stats here. 25 attempts by Woodland now, and only 5 have been saved, 2 went in, so quite a few missed, but you got to give them credit for being in position to shoot that many times as well.
Yeah, you would think that a couple more would have squirted through on 25 attempts, but only 2 on frame, on in goal, 5 on frame.
Well, and the one thing you think about, well, this is a 2A team playing a B team, 2B team. But then on the other hand, give Kalama credit. They dropped back on defense. They've not given up easy shots, and some of those that are seeming.
Martinez on a long run, but too far ahead of herself yet again. This one is slow roller out from Burgess.
But look at her putting on pressure there, though. She's not going to drop back right away as they did earlier. She's going to try to see if she can get in the mix, and if somebody makes a mistake, she's going to be right there.
That's one that freshman getting a lot of experience up top, doing a good job of making people work. Not going to let you just run around and slow roll these passes back like they were at the beginning of the game. You're going to have to do something, make some effort.
Yeah, and the freshmen getting to play is so important. They're learning things they don't even know they're learning just by being out there. You don't even have to be good and be out there. She's a good player, but you don't even have to be that effective. Just being out there, you absorb so many lessons that when you have the talent she does, it's going to be phenomenal what she can probably do as her career goes along.
Deep shot taken by the Beavers. Now they'll make a couple of subs as well. Looks like Delaney Stepper and can't quite see. It looks like Frances Helling will check in as there are 5 minutes to play in a regulation. Lots of movement up top. Players trying to figure out where they're moving now as a lot of these subs reserves are into the match.
Yeah, Delaney Stepper goes right to the middle on the front line.
And Stepper played when she came in early on in the game. She played on the back line.
It's another good opportunity for Woodland with the game seemingly in hand. You can move people to different positions that you may need them in as injuries occur or what have you during the course of the season.
And right there, that's one that Martinez needs to realize that she's been called offsides a couple of times. She needs to make sure she's lined up onside. She's offsides right now, and she needs to watch where she's at on the field. If you're going to be a forward striker, you're going to have to know when you're on and offsides.
And that's another one of those video things that Coach Bates can work with her on after they get a chance to look at this film. And one of those very minor adjustments she can make that'll get her a few more goals.
Aceveda with the ball. Plays it through the Chinooks. A little indecisive who was going to clear that one out. It was Madeline Norton over there along with Jenna Burnell. And both of them kind of look at each other like, do you want to clear it? No, I think you should clear it. Yeah. And now Martinez will check out. Checking in for Kalama is going to be Lily Nichols.
So that's probably the end of the Melanie Martinez afternoon, and she will not score today after getting 3 the other day, but she showed why she was able to score a hat trick the other afternoon, and it'll be fun to watch her career develop for Kalama.
Yeah, she's one that she's a bright spot for this Kalama Chinooks team, that she can run, She's shown that she's got some power behind her kicks. That first shot that went off of the crossbar was from deep, and that was a rocket. She's got some power for being a freshman. So that's one that's a bright spot. If they can get one of these other defenders to be able to step up and fill a role and allow Emily Mickelson to play a midfield role, that would really help out their team with Mickelson running the middle of the field and not having to worry about being a backline stopper, a center back.
Yeah, and if you look at their season a year ago, they peaked at the right time. They actually lost in districts to La Center, I believe it was, but then came back and made it all the way to the state title game. So they're a team that can develop as the season goes along. This isn't their level of play. They're two steps above their head, and it could be a lot different when they get to league play.
It could be. Long run coming from Hargrave. Jenna jumped in front of one of the forward passes by the Beavers. The Beavers able to settle everything down. They'll come to the near side to Elizabeth Aceveda. Aceveda. Step over. Trying to get Hargrave to bite on her fake. She does not, and the play will be back to Weiss.
It's one of the things you mentioned earlier about more of the Woodland players play a lot of club soccer as opposed to the Kalama girls. That has an effect in practice as well. So you need the games when you're a team like that doesn't have a lot of club players. You need this game action, whereas Woodland can go club players against club players during practice and get a lot more competition, whereas the smaller school has to wait till games to get that type of competition, and that's why this is so important for them to get in some good non-league games.
Yeah, and there's another corner coming as we are entering stoppage. We are in stoppage time yet again as this game is about ready to end. Sub looking to check in for the Chinooks. But yeah, that's one that with club players as well, that's one less burden on the coach because some of the club players, especially the older club players, can take some of the younger players and run them through some drills. But when you don't have that advantage, that ability to have a player come out and help you out and get players in position and really boost up some of the players that don't play all the time, that really is something that has added the advantage of Woodland and at the disadvantage of Kalama.
Yeah, but when they get to league play with other B-level teams, they're going to be playing teams probably with similar issues and not the tradition that they have and the history that they have. So I would think that as much as Coach Bates was doing his little coach speak kind of before the game and saying they weren't going to be that good, I'll bet you by the time it's all over, they'll be pretty decent.
I think you are right that this team, looking at them play, it hasn't been the best, but their defense has held strong against a team that's been firing left and right on them. They've done a really good job of sticking in front of balls. The one thing is really pick up the tempo. You're going to have to pick up the pace on some of these and not slow jog to some of these slow rollers. You're going to have to make an effort and run on and do a good job of making sure that the other team is pressured by you the entire game instead of late in the game.
Yeah, and that could be a little bit of young players not knowing how to react to a scouting report. You could have coach saying, now do this, and they overdo it. And as time goes along, they realize, okay, I can play back on defense but still recognize scoring opportunities and get better at what they're trying to do. Because I'm sure that in scoring 5 goals the other afternoon, and there's the end of the game, but in scoring 5 goals the other afternoon, I'm sure they weren't this hesitant. No,
that was one that they were probably a really, really good team. All right, that will do it for the game. The Woodland Beavers win 2-0 over the Kalama Chinooks, and we will be back with the post-game show here on the Eli Sports Network right after this.
The final score is on the board, but we're not done yet. The post-game show is next with the final numbers, stats, comments, and our post-game honors coming up next on the Eli Sports Network.
Weichert Reynolds Realty in Olympia is proud to support all student athletes as they strive to be the best. There are a lot of similarities between athletes and the professionals you'll meet at Weichert Reynolds Realty. Both know that hard work is not enough to be the best, but you must couple that hard work with attention to detail. Focus on the big picture. Be creative and inventive, and those are just the obvious traits. When you come through the doors of Weichert Reynolds Realty at 2532 Pacific Avenue in Olympia, you will be taken care of by their team of all-stars. Looking to buy or sell in Thurston County and surrounding areas? Your first call should be to Weichert Reynolds Real Estate at 360-412-6731. When it comes to real estate, turn to the pros at Weichert Reynolds.
Things are looking up in real estate, but today's market remains a bit volatile. So before you do anything, call the pros at Mortgage One Northwest. Brad Hargrave and his team can give you a full evaluation and qualify you for a mortgage you can afford before looking for your dream home. Mortgage One Northwest has low down to no down options and are military friendly. Make an appointment now with Mortgage One Northwest at mortgageonenorthwest.com. Your friends in the mortgage business is Mortgage One Northwest, located in Hawks Prairie. NMLS 82426. Athletes, the time is now to get serious about improving yourself to reach your goals. We all know that college recruiters and professional scouts put a lot of importance on those tangible measurements, such as a 40 time, your vertical leap, cone drills, and so on. Proactive Physical Therapy in Tumwater has a special, unique training program that will improve your results across the board. If you are serious about raising your performance to the next level, you need to talk with the pros today at Proactive Physical Therapy. Check them out online or call for an appointment today.
Are you an athlete, former athlete, or suffering from athletic-type injuries? Then you need to stop by Pacific Sports Spa and check out the most cutting-edge therapy equipment assembled in one place in all of the Pacific Northwest. Pacific Sports Spa can help you deal with the pain and soreness of sprains, inflammation, or stiff joints and muscles. Check out the services offered by Pacific Sports Spa on their website at pacificsportspa.com. Pacific Sports Spa is an athlete's best friend.
Time for the final numbers, comments, and naming our Pacific Sports Spa players of the game and our play of the game on the post-game show. Let's head back to the stadium one last time here on the Eli Sports Network.
And welcome back to Woodland High School. Tony Davila here with Dave Weber, Paul Beatty, as well as the Woodland Beavers get the win 2-0 over the Kalama Chinooks. And it was a really good game by the Woodland Beavers. The Chinooks played very good on defense. Beavers, though, took advantage of they just outmatched, they outclassed them, but they should have because they're a much bigger classification than the Kalama Chinooks. All right, Dave, let's go over the scoring plays for the Beavers.
Well, very early on, you mentioned that Coach Bates of Kalama thought his team might get defeated soundly, and it looked like that might happen. As very early on, there was a deflected roller, and Hannah Landrigan, the junior on the wing for the Beavers, put it into the net for a 1-0 lead, and impressively by Kalama's part, they shut things down after that until the 62nd minute when senior midfielder Michaela Upson got a long shot off the keeper's hands. Mary Morrell leaped for it, but it hit off her hands and went into the net in the 62nd minute, and that was all we got. We had a 2-0 game today, the exact same score between these two teams last year, Woodland 2, Kalama 0. So if Kalama can do what they did after that 2-0 game last year, which was go on to the state finals, I'm sure they'll be happy.
And the Chinooks showed that they have some players to build around, that they have a good team. If they can get some of these players to round into form and really run up and down the field, it will help them out quite a bit. All right, it is time now for our Pacific Sports Ball plays of the game after this.
Our Players of the Game award is brought to you by Pacific Sports Spas in Chehalis and Tumwater. Pacific Sports Spas, where athletes go to recover from sore and strained muscles with cutting-edge technology that gets you back in the game faster and in a safe and controlled environment. Pacific Sports Spas supports all student athletes and is proud to honor the Players of the Game.
And our Players of the Game For the Kalama Chinooks, we went with Emily Mickelson. Mickelson played very well on the backline defense, and you saw how important she was because right after she came out of the game, that second goal was scored by the Beavers. But Mickelson played very well on the backline. She made a long run of her own up the middle of the field that was stopped, but you can tell that she is a very good player for this Chinooks team. And our player of the game for the Woodland Beavers was Hannah Landrigan. She scored the first goal in the 5th minute, but she didn't slow down at all. She played a lot in the middle of the field, was feeding her teammates up and down the field, was really getting the ball around, spreading it around. So Hannah Landrigan will be our player of the game for the Woodland Beavers. So Hannah Landrigan and Emily Mickelson, our players of the game.
Yeah, and both of them.
Time now for the Proactive Physical Therapy Play of the Game. We honor the game-changing moment in this contest, and Proactive Physical Therapy is a game changer for you when you need to get back in the game. Proactive Physical Therapy.
And our Proactive PT play of the game goes to Michaela Upson. On that second goal, we had just got done talking about how she wanted that goal. She had taken 3 or 4 shots right before then, and we were talking about accuracy drills and everything and telling them that they needed to work on that, and then she makes us eat our words as she hits a bending shot from the top of the box that was played back from Landrigan. Landrigan was the one that did get that assist on that as well, but it was a good play back from Landrigan to Upson, who hit that bending shot off the hands of Morrell. So Morrell was in the right spot, was trying to punch it out, but it still goes in the back of the net. It was that hard of a shot. So it will go, our Proactive PT play of the game will go to the game winner, or the game clincher, in Michaela Upson for that second goal of the game for the Woodland Beavers. And that will be it. We have to break down pretty quick because we have to get back up to Napavine because we have Napavine and Kalama boys football action up later tonight as we will be at Napavine for that. So if you're a Kalama fan that is listening, you can check us out on either the free audio broadcast or we will be on the NFHS network. That is a pay-per-view, but you can check us out there or on our normal website.
Or better yet, go to the game. It's going to be a good one. Going to be a good one.
You could go there too. Napavine is a nice stadium. Fresh burgers, you can always smell that, which is kind of terrible because it makes me hungry throughout the game. But you could check it out there for sure. All right, thank you for listening. I'm Tony Davila, Dave Weber, and Paul Beatty here for the Eli Sports Network. Again, Woodland 2, Chinooks 0. Thank you for listening, and listen again later.
Another contest in the books, and we are done for now. Be sure to check our schedule for the next broadcast and check out our game stories, picture galleries, and much more at EliSportsNetwork.com. You've been listening to the leader in high school sports coverage, the Eli Sports Network.